Gonna call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Let's start the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and with the supervisor absent, we need to have a motion.
I'd like to nominate Brian Smith as.
I was gonna Treasurer Rice.
Oh, Treasurer Rice is? Okay. I'm not gonna argue.
Are you gonna nominate
Yeah.
Treasurer Rice?
No, I'll let you.
Okay, I nominate Treasurer Rice to be
Okay.
acting supervisor for tonight.
Support. Okay. All right, motion for Treasurer Rice, support, and any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, any other motions?
Make a motion to appoint Trustee Bills as temporary clerk.
Support.
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, both passed. Sorry, I forgot to let you know that. All right, and with that, Trustee Bills, can you please do roll call?
Trustee Thering,
Here.
Treasurer Rice,
Here.
and Trustee Smith,
Here.
Trustee Brown,
Here.
Trustee Bills here. Clerk Cody is excused to be late.
All right,
I move to approve the agenda.
all right, motion to approve the agenda, support.
Support.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And passes unanimously. And with that, did we want to move to
No.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you have to have another meeting yet tonight, so after this I'll leave. I just want to bring one thing up and then I'll take questions, but right now, we just sent in the grant for the public defenders. A couple of years ago, the Michigan Indigent Defense Council created a law where we had to do this. So what's really surprised me, I kept waiting. It's a $1.9 million, and the county share is $240,000, and that has not went up, which is very surprising. They just did the last standard they made, so we're going to be in compliance with all the standards. So they kind of, I think I told you a couple of years ago, they skipped the standard and kind of messed up the system. So what they're working on now is that, I wish they would have done it all at one time, but they're working on new standards for the juvenile. So right now they're completely separate, the public defender. We have to have a separate system for the juveniles and for the adult courts. So probably within a year or so, they'll do the standards and we'll try to integrate that into us. But I'm really happy that they haven't. I kept waiting because a lot of times the state will mandate you do something and either that they'll cost you a little bit more or else they start cutting backs. But so far they haven't. So with that, I will take any questions.
How does that affect your budget?
Pardon?
How does that affect your budget?
It doesn't. It's all budgeted. And like I said, it's a process we're going in, so it's already been budgeted. It's kind of like every other grant. You kind of talk to the grant writers and you kind of know where you're going. So now we have been in discussion with their public defender at Hausman to make that nonprofit. There's a little more things. There's more grants available. You can share resources with a couple other counties. So, and that'll be another that comes through the Criminal Justice Committee. And so we're looking at that. We're working with a couple other counties to do that. So even though the county will still be in charge, it'll be the same thing, but it'll allow a little more funding and allow them a little more flexibility. So right now, it's just like everywhere else, they're having trouble. We got one of our contract attorneys is going to retire, so been there for 15 years. It's like everything else. They're just, you can't find anybody. So that will be an issue going forward, but I think the whole state thought that, so. So,
Thanks.
any more questions? Okay, well, see you guys later. Enjoy the good weather.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Roll Tigers.
All right. And so with that, let's move ahead to public comment. This is restricted to 3 minutes regarding items on this agenda. Do we have anybody online, Tara?
We don't.
No. Okay. All right, so we'll open the floor at 7:05 p.m. And with nobody coming forward, we will close public comment at 7:05 p.m. Moving on to report boards and comments. All right, the current list of board and commissions. I don't think, well, we do have a vacant seat on the planning commission board members and stuff like that, but I think I would like to wait for a full board for that, or at least majority, if
Sounds
that's
good
okay
to
with
me.
everybody.
Yes.
All right. So moving on to board member reports. Did we have anything for that tonight? Okay.
Just go around the circle.
Huh?
Well,
Oh, I just-
Mount
yep.
Pleasant moved theirs till Tuesday, so I don't have a report.
Okay.
Theirs will be this coming
I
Tuesday.
don't have anything.
From the county, one of the big things is that the tribe got an EPA grant for solid waste infrastructure, and so the county MRF is going to be a subcontractor to that grant, and they're going to get about $1.149 million for equipment upgrades and new equipment for when they expand. It's a huge help to offset a lot of those costs, so that's great news for the county, and thank you to the tribe for partnering with them and getting that recycling center going.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's the big thing.
Okay. Mr. Thering, Trustee Thering, do you have anything?
I do not, thank you.
Okay. All right.
We meet next week.
Maybe next week? Okay. And I am good as well. Moving on to the memo from Treasurer Rice, list of delinquent assessments. Did you guys have any questions there, or Mark, did you want me to open that up, and did you want to say anything about that, or?
If I may,
Yeah,
just for a minute.
absolutely.
This is a two-step process. We started doing it last year, if not before, in order to take special assessment installments that are delinquent and to get them onto the tax roll. It requires first a report that's in your packet from the treasurer to the board listing the delinquencies. And then there'll be a request for board action at your next meeting that basically says these delinquencies can be placed on the winter tax roll. And so between now and then, probably get some payments in, hopefully, and the list would be smaller. Thank you.
If you're looking for it, it's on page 7 of the packet. So,
I'm all
Okay.
set with that. Thanks.
yep. Any other questions, anything? Okay, moving right along. And that brings us to the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Support?
Okay, motion Bills, support Smith, and then discussion.
I did.
Sorry. Yep.
To the best of my ability, I was all set. We are all set.
All
on
right.
Accounts payable.
Any other discussion? All right. With that, all in favor, say aye. Of
Aye.
approving. Yep, sorry, of approving consent agenda. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And against? All right. Consent agenda is approved. Moving on to new business. And this is the second reading and adoption of the updated zoning ordinance signs. Manager Stuhldreher, did you want to lead us in on this one?
Thank you. And briefly, just a little bit of recap. The portion of the zoning ordinance that you're looking at and that you had a first reading on and introduction at your last meeting, this portion of section 11 of the zoning code, it has to do with signs. That was last updated in 2020. There have been some amendments to it since then, but not in really the sign area. The staff had been working with the ordinance now for a few years and has identified some regulatory conflicts within the code and some other challenges. So this staff initiated amendment to the code was brought before you a couple weeks ago. The Planning Commission has acted on this with a recommendation, unanimous, to the Board of Trustees, recommending that you all adopt it. When, during your review 2 weeks ago, there was some items that we wanted some additional clarification on, some addition to the definition section. You will find those on page 24 of your agenda packet, which I think captures what you were looking to have. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Of course, we have Mr. Nanny here as well. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, so discussion unless there's a motion.
I move to conduct a second reading of the proposed PTXT 24-01 amendments to the Section 11 signs and Section 2.2 definitions of the zoning ordinance number 20-06 for the purposes of establishing more flexible standards and updated requirements for various types of signs and resolving regulatory conflicts in the current ordinance, and to adopt the amendatory ordinance as Township Ordinance number 24-04.
All right. Motion, Bills. Any support?
Support?
Support, Smith. All right, discussion.
Sounds good to me.
I think we had a lot of questions the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I was
a
gonna
lot
say.
more
Put into
questions,
it.
especially with that pylon,
Yeah.
sign clarification and stuff. I've got no questions.
Yeah,
Thank you.
went through it.
Yeah, and I like the changes that were made. I think it really helps as well. So,
Roll call? in
roll
it?
call. Yep, and Cody's back. So
Yes.
you're
Clerk
relieved
Cody?
of duty.
Thank you. Thank God.
Treasurer Rice,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Bills,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Thering,
Yes.
and Clerk Cody, yes. All yeses.
All right. And moving on. So, all right, moving on to the resolution to set a public hearing for fiscal year 2025 budget recommendations. And Manager Stuhldreher.
Thank you. There's a report on this item on page 46 of your agenda packet. A requirement of the Uniform Budget Act requires that a public hearing be held to provide an opportunity for the community to comment on the budget. This hearing also serves as the truth in taxation notice. The notice, as it will appear in the paper, is in your packet. I will not read it. If approved, this would be published on Sunday, October 13th, and the public hearing then would be scheduled for your next meeting, which is October 23rd. I am hopeful that within just the next few days, you're going to get a copy of the proposed 2025 or the recommended 2025 budget. It is going to be fairly straightforward. There's nothing new in the budget in terms of initiatives or anything like that. It's mostly a continuation of what is a very busy time right now for the staff. And so if we can just get a few of these things done next year, that would be very good. And so if as you did last year, you made a motion to adopt the budget the night of the public hearing, following the public hearing. And so I'm hoping to have you in a position that if you so choose, you're able to do that with, duly informed.
Mhm.
So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Make the motion to schedule the fiscal year 2025 budget adoption public hearing for Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024, and to notice same in the Morning Sun as required by statute.
Support.
Okay, motion and support, discussion.
No, straightforward.
I was gonna say, pretty easy one, right?
Good to go.
All right, and so all in favor of approving the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes unanimously. And moving on. So that takes us to the Public Act 152, exemption cost sharing resolution. Manager Stoldryer.
Thank you. The report on this is on page 48 of your agenda packet. This has been an annual item for the board for probably 10 years. Public Act 151 was adopted approximately 10 years ago, and the purpose of the act is to try to, at a minimum, make governing bodies conscious of the expenses that come with employee health care benefits. And the act allows for three alternatives. One is that the employer's cost share of the benefit plan must be cost competitive with the state's preferred provider plan on a per employee basis. Some of you may know this as what they refer to as the hard cap rule. The other option for the local units is with a majority vote of the governing body, the employer can declare that the employer's share of the health care benefit expense will not exceed 80% of the total plan cost. This is commonly known as the 80-20 rule. And then the third item, the third choice for the local unit, is that they can opt out of these requirements and do what they want. And that is the option that is being recommended to you tonight. It does require a 2/3 vote of the governing body, so it'd be a supermajority of all you hear tonight. And what we've been doing for the last 9 years or so is transferring employee health care benefit costs from the employer to the employee. And we've done this through collective bargaining over the last 9 years or so. There's a table on page 48 of your agenda packet that shows that movement. In 2017, the employer share was 100% of the cost and the employees paid zero. We've gradually moved that up. 2025, per the collective bargaining agreement, is 88% for the employer and 12% for the employee. So I think we've made a tremendous amount of progress in this area. We are not done yet. We'll continue to move this along. We do have our existing collective bargaining agreement expires at the end of 2025, so I'm sure this will be a subject of negotiation once we start those, which I'd anticipate to be in mid-year of 2025. So that's all I have. I will remind you that if you do follow the recommendation of the administration, that it would require a 2/3 vote.
I have a couple questions. I don't know if you want to make a motion first and
I'll
then
make a
question.
motion. if you want.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the attached resolution opting out of the employer health care benefit plan contribution limit as allowed by the State of Michigan Public Act 152 for the benefit of year 2025.
Support?
Support?
Motion and support. Discussion. You said you had a couple
Uh,
of questions.
Manager, I was just wondering, first of all, great job on your negotiations so far. I've done a great job here in the last 9 years. I'm just curious as to what we're, might be able to accomplish next time, and I mean, obviously you don't know that yet, but what are your, what's in your head for the next negotiation? Are we moving towards 20%?
I am.
Uh-huh.
That's my goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've stated that several times over the years. It's not a particularly easy lift. I think, you know, some years we get down to going from, you know, 90% employer to 89.5.
That's still gotta represent some money though, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It does. It's a big expense. So we will continue to try to share costs, however you want to, you know, couch it. At the end of the day, it's putting more costs on the shoulders of the employees. And we're a pretty small organization. We have talked about and tried to move towards having more plan offerings. You know, the high deductible HSA. The plan we have now is considered, I consider it a Cadillac level plan. So in terms of healthcare, we do want to manage costs and at the same time create a benefit program that allows us to continue to recruit and retain our very good employees.
How much do you think 12% represents of our, you know, that they're paying now and we're not, for money, dollar-wise? I'm just curious. I mean, Not hard
I
numbers.
should have brought that with me.
What-
I can give you that answer tomorrow, though.
okay. Well, I was just curious. I was ballparking thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
I can't even ballpark it, though, right now.
Okay, that's okay. No, that's okay. No, that's fine.
Any other? Any other discussion? All right, with that then, let's do a roll call vote.
Treasurer Rice,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Bills,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Thering,
Yes.
and Clerk Cody, yes.
Okay. And all approved. And that brings us down to negotiation of the manager's 2025 employee agreement. And so with that, sorry, getting down here. I'm assuming you didn't have anything you wanted to open with for this one, or is there anything you wanted to say
No.
for this one? Okay. All right. All right. So, let's start with the manager evaluation form. Or do
We
you,
already
or
went through that.
we
We're
pre-
just.
we just did that. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm looking it over. Anyway, so all of that is in here. Let's start with discussion, I guess, with
So
the
we're just
negotiation
Discussing
of,
the contract.
yeah.
Was there any like previous discussions or anything?
So, I
If you
know,
want, I can tee
Claire-
it up.
huh?
If you want,
So-
I can tee it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I was, sure, that's fine. I was gonna say, otherwise, I know, we had a brief conversation with Mark. They were in person and I was here kind of discussing things, but I'll let Mark tee it up.
Do you want it?
Did you?
Because I talked to Brian this afternoon, and I think the initial discussion was maybe possibly looking at a 3% increase with
Yeah.
a $50 increase to his car allowance.
Yeah, so what,
And is that,
Yeah, so what we had been discussing, we had it was Supervisor Milky, Lisa Cody, and myself. And we kind of met with Mark to discuss kind of what we were looking at, kind of thing, or what he would like and what we would like and things like that. But or possibility of. There was discussion of a 3% increase on salary, $50 per month car allowance, and there was also brought up the possibility of extra month severance for directors as kind of another option, and that he was looking for as another creative link. Oh,
We've
were you
already
gonna-
discussed the directors. I don't want to discuss that here.
There are 3 things that I'm looking for that I'd like to start the negotiation with. Asking for a 3% increase in my base salary, increase of, or an additional $50 a month in the car allowance that I currently receive. It's $300 a month. And then the third thing that I'd like to request as part of this exercise is the authorization, the authority, and I know this one's a little odd when we're talking about my employment agreement, but since we're talking about my employment agreement with the township, I figure anything's game. So the third item is I would like authorization to be able to amend the department director employment agreement that you all approved a while ago, several months ago. It currently says that if you've worked here 3 years, the department directors would receive, and if the department director had worked here 3 years and they were let go without cause, they would get 3 months of severance, and that's salary and benefits. What I'm asking for as part of my employment agreement negotiation is authorization to change that to 4 months. So after 3 years, instead of the current 3 months that's in the agreement that you all approved, it would move to 4 months. These are negotiations, so that's what I'm asking for.
If I may make a suggestion, I completely agree with the 3% and the $50. I would like to kind of decouple the 1-year severance and put it on the agenda 2 weeks from now for a separate discussion. That way we're not tying other things in with the manager's contract. That way it would be a separate standalone discussion in 2 weeks.
Yep. I'm not voting for that.
If that
Sorry.
sounds,
I'm not gonna do it.
I would definitely entertain the discussion
yeah.
of that topic. I would hate to have it tied, if it's part of your contract, then someday your contract will end. Will that negate?
That's the way if we decouple it and make it separate.
Right,
from
that's what I
he's
mean.
asking,
That's
then
why I'm saying that now.
If the manager is good with that, if
Right.
we put it on the agenda for 2 weeks, I've talked with Supervisor Milky, and he was agreeable to that as well. He said I could speak for him on that particular topic.
I would absolutely support your statements. I would be interested in hearing what you'd have to say about that at our next meeting.
Appreciate those comments. And I don't want to drag this out too much, but although it's different, asking for something like this as part of my employment agreement, but what we have is an employment agreement between the township and the manager, and there's a bunch of things in there. By me, because this is important to me, that's why I'm bringing it up. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is because this is when I have maximum leverage. And so all I would ask is that if we want to move the discussion and decouple it, that we do so with an open mind. If everybody's, you know, a no already, then these negotiations are gonna continue to go on tonight. So I'm just asking that it be done with an open mind is all.
My no is tied to your contract. I'm not voting for something for a director with regard to your contract. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna do it, sorry.
Does that mean you'll have an open mind?
I always have an open mind.
Okay.
Clerk Cody.
So, I mean, I understand why he's asking for it. I actually agree with it, just because it's without cause. If he fires somebody without cause, it's just protecting the workers more. It's not giving him more power or anything. It's if they get fired for no reason, you know, you're done. I mean, at least they have 4 months to look for something else. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a benefit to Mark or you know, the manager or, I mean, it's just to protect them. So I think it's a good thing.
And I'm open to decoupling it. I'm just, you heard me, I just want, you know.
I can tell you,
But
I
that's
have
my
an
feeling on
open
it.
mind. What you're asking for is I have an open mind.
And I definitely do too. I was one of those that was, when I first saw it last time, I was kind of opposed to it, to be honest. And then life changes happen, and then you realize when you're on the other end and you realize 3 months isn't very long as you're looking. And so I would definitely be open-minded to adding that 4th month.
I think I have the history of not wanting to create conflict and make this a big deal.
Yeah.
We are negotiating. I've heard a little bit of reluctance. I don't want this thing to go on forever tonight.
I mean, we're not making a motion or anything right tonight. We're just talking
No,
about
just
it, right?
just
Okay, I
discussion.
just-
Yeah.
Well, I would like,
Oh, I don't know.
Do you want
if the 3% and the $50 is in the realm of
Yes.
something that you guys can live with, I would appreciate a motion on at least that part tonight.
Yep.
And maybe adding to that motion to solidify the 2 weeks from now, that, however you want to describe it,
Right.
will be a topic of discussion at the October 28th meeting. And
Okay.
So we don't have a motion on the table
I'll
right
make
now.
a-
So
Not
I'll
yet.
make a motion.
we
Not
could
yet.
make a motion in regards to that.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the things I would like to say is, you know, I think it is, you know, pretty awesome that our manager, rather than trying to think of other things he would like for himself, instead he's trying to find something else to help the staff or, you know, to help out around here. And I thought that was really cool for, you know, one of the things he wants is something to help others as well. But
Well, I'll make a motion.
sounds great.
Make a motion to offer the manager a 3% increase to salary, a $50 increase to the car allowance
And that's
And
per month, right?
per month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then adding to the October 23rd agenda, discussion and possible approval of adding or amending the director's employment agreements by adding 1 month to the severance.
Would that include 1 month for the 4th year? Is that,
No, it caps at 3 years. 3
It
years
caps
is
at 3 years.
3 years is 3 months. So this would be adding. We'll have it all worked out at that point. Just
so you're
adding
saying
that-
3 years gives you 4 months?
So as of right now, 3 years gives you, like, 3 years of service gives you the 3 months
Right.
pay.
Yeah.
they're talking adding a 4th month
To
of
that
pay to that.
third
So,
year.
so it would be adding one more month to that
3rd year.
3rd year. So after 3 years of service, they could get 4 months pay.
So it was my
We
motion.
can always discuss that.
Yeah, we can always
Yeah, we
discuss.
can
Was
discuss
my
that.
motion
Yeah, but
clear
it's
enough?
discussion.
But
I
you're
don't
being
know.
specific, I think,
We can
Just add
discuss
the
whether we
discussion.
want to add that 4th year to the 4th month or whatever. Like
We're gonna
that,
have the
and
discussion.
23rd.
I second the motion.
So,
Yeah.
The
but at
motion.
least we get it adding how we want that 1 month.
yeah, and I'm not indicating a
Yeah.
yes or no vote on
Yeah.
that. I just want to know that we're not tied to exactly what you
Yeah,
said.
that's
No.
No.
We're just
Okay.
putting it on the agenda.
I've conceded that if the motion is approved, I've already conceded that that 3rd point, that 3rd ask, if you will, we will discuss that in 2 weeks. And I recognize that it can go, the vote could be up, down, you know,
Yeah.
tie, whatever, but I recognize that.
Okay.
All right, so motion and support. Any further discussion?
do it as a roll call.
The support was Bill's, sorry. So, motion Smith, support Bill's. If there's no further discussion, Clerk Cody, can you do roll call?
Treasurer Rice,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Bills,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Thering,
Yes.
and Clerk Cody, yes.
All right, and all in support.
Thank you very much. Look forward to next year.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Glad you're staying on.
Yeah.
All right,
That's funny.
and that brings us down to extended public comment. This is restricted to 5 minutes regarding any issue. Is there anybody online?
No, there's not.
Okay, and in person? Go ahead.
Lori Rogers, 2248 Cornerstone Drive, Mount Pleasant. Lifelong Isabella County resident, and the last 12 years in Union Township. And I've been attending these meetings. First, I wanted to see where I fit. Now, if you know me at all, I don't do anything halfway. I want to learn everything, and given the opportunity, I want to hit the ground running. So that's why I'm here.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Not seeing anyone else? Oh, sorry. Did you get when we opened? I'm sorry. It was opened at 7:37.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Closing public comment at 7:38 p.m. And manager comments.
Thank you, and I'm
Yep.
just checking a date here, that's why I'm on this phone. So I just have a couple comments. As a reminder, and you've already approved this, but we will be closing Township Hall on Election Day to the public. All the staff will be here working. I'll probably announce that at the next couple, at the one remaining meeting before the election. I meant to say it last meeting, but the meeting prior to the last meeting, I was not here. It was the last meeting in September. I watched it on TV, and there was a desire by the board to hear more about economic development in the community. So I wanted to make sure that you know that I'd heard that, and that we'll be bringing some sort of presentation to the board
Thank you.
Perfect.
subsequent to tonight. And then just as a reminder, there are at least a few, if not several, appointments or board seats that expire at the end of this year, and we're kind of running out of some meeting times. So just as a reminder that we need to fill those, and then there's also, I think, even more that kind of term expires relatively early in 2025, first quarter. So I just bring that up so you don't end up getting them all bunched up in one time, and then we don't have, fully seated boards. And I do appreciate the consideration for the manager's contract, a brief discussion that I thought was all we would need tonight. What I will do is, after the next meeting, I will provide you, and so we have another meeting in October, and then we have a first meeting in November, which I think is the 13th. And so you could anticipate at your 13th meeting that the contract itself, and I'd give you the new one with the 3% and the red line so you can compare them, but that we need to execute that agreement, and I think that probably takes board action. And with what we've heard tonight, that amendment would be, red line version would be pretty easy. It'd strike out the old salary at 3%, put the new one in there, strike out the $300, add $50 to that, and then depending on what happens at the next meeting regarding the director issue, we'll take that as it comes.
Okay.
And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Final board member comment. Yes, let's start over with Mr. Therian here.
I am good, thank you.
Good. All right, Clerk Cody, good. All
All
right.
set tonight.
Man, we're quiet
I have a
tonight.
few things.
Oh, here we go.
I would like to thank Clerk Cody for my ballot. I voted last weekend. Thank you so much to you very much, Clerk Cody. Number 2, we've had a couple of serious fires here in the township this week, and I want to remind everybody that it is bone dry. Please don't throw cigarettes out your window. Don't strike a match outside. It's dangerous. I had a story about a farmer that was clearing his field. Spark caught his field on fire, burned his barn down. This is recent. So we're bone dry. Don't burn anything outside. And have a great day.
Thank you.
Nothing for me.
Nothing for you.
Actually, I just wanted to
Yep.
thank the manager for accepting our proposal for
Oh, yeah.
continued employment here. We are very lucky to have you.
Yes, we
Second
are.
that.
Thank you.
Here,
Thank you.
here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I enjoy working here.
All right. And with that,
I
Do we
move
have a
to
motion?
adjourn the
Support.
meeting.
okay, motion by Bills and support by Smith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right. And we are closed at 7:43. Thank you.
Thank you.